Good afternoon and welcome to our social inclusion podcast. I'm joined today by our social inclusion manager, Emma Williamson, Jane Mindar, Lesley, Amor and Kimberlee-Smith. Just to set out in context some of the things we're going to be talking about today. Over the last 6 years, Copeland Borough Council, have prioritised supporting vulnerable people in our community, supporting the disadvantaged, and helping people who generally fall on hard times. And over that period, we've set up several programmes. We are one, and as far as I'm aware, the only council in the UK that actually has a social inclusion team. And I'll introduce Emma Williamson shortly, who joined us a couple of years ago and heads up our social inclusion team. So Emma will talk a little bit about the team and how she works with third sector partners who are all joining us on this meeting today. And then Emma will talk about our winter support programme that we've got set up and we're about to roll out over the coming months. So without any further ado, I will pass over to Emma to talk a little bit about her role, her team, and Emma will introduce the other guests on the podcast today. Emma.
Afternoon, Mike. Yeah, so our social inclusion team has been absolute crucial, particularly in the last 18 months during COVID. So we're really fortunate to have the social prescribing team that work really closely with our third sector partners in delivering, enabling and facilitating support in the community. We've also got our social inclusion team who are heading up the community development side of things and looking at supporting those in the community that might have financial difficulties, things like digital exclusion. It's really, our team is really important, but what's more important is our partnership. So we work really closely with the likes of Age UK and Cosy Homes and Cumbria Age and Advice Service, in particular at winter. So winter is a real concern for us within the team. It's a real difficulty at the moment, with utility bills and, rising costs of food and things like that. So the government has just released a new household support fund. That fund has gone into the county council to distribute, and we're working in partnership with our partners to help people with essential items. And I think it's really important to do these projects directly with the community, because that's where most of the need will be identified. So if I can just go over to Jane Mindar from Age UK to talk about some of the winter provision that we're going to be doing throughout the Christmas period and into next year.
Thanks, Emma. We put a fairly comprehensive programme together with Emma and also with Lesley and Kim. And what we're doing is we're taking our winter provision to people rather than expecting people to come to us. It's really important in a place where the geography is so difficult, like Cumbria, to take our provision out to people. So we're going to be covering a lot of ground, literally, using our special bus called Engage. And the idea is it is a community engagement tool. So we're going to take winter warmth packs to people. We're going to be discussing benefits. We're going to be distributing winter warmth grants. We'll be giving out good slippers to stop people from slipping, because sloppy slippers cost lives and broken hips and things like that during the winter. We'll be giving them some heat advice, and we've been speaking to Kim to get some advice from CAAS on how we can do that. We've been speaking to Lesley as well on how we can all work together, because we cover more ground collectively than we do on our own. And we've got a very comprehensive and very exciting package that Emma's helped us put together, which is not just about advice and handing out leaflets, really. It's being very practical and bringing the largest amount of income into people's pockets that we can, and saving money because fuel bills are rising. And every year in Cumbria, there are about 400 to 500 preventable winter deaths, which is quite a startling sort of figure. And that with flu as well on top of that, and then with COVID. It's really important that we get sort of roll our sleeves up and just get in and get to see as many people as possible.
Thank you, Jane. And Kimberlee-Smith, if I can go over to you to talk about what Cosy Homes can provide and some of the projects that we're looking at doing with our social prescribing team.
Yes, thanks, Emma. Hi, everyone. Yes, Cosy Homes obviously offers a free energy advice service, and we go into someone's home and we look at the situations they're in and then give them a full report on what their home is and how they can improve it. We help them with energy saving behaviours and then help them to go for grants that are available. Now, that's a long-term thing. That's kind of for the longevity, isn't it, to help them over a period of time. Over the winter period, when things become the perfect storm, and this certainly is going to be one of those years with the cost in energy tariffs going up and everything else that's happening, we're obviously looking at also providing instant access to you guys for the funds that you have available that you can administer. So really good, clear referral, so the process can happen quickly. We obviously are ourselves able to refer straight to Agility Eco and get an emergency boiler put into somebody's home when they're in a no heat situation. We deal very often with emergency situations like that, even first time situations where there's no heating in the house and there's never been central heating in the home. We will deal with those sorts of things and also help with a free energy kit, which includes everything from light bulbs to carbon monoxide alarms, cold alarms, to warn an older person that actually the house is getting too cold for them. These are free and we'll distribute them through the bus system as and when we get to these people. Working with social prescribers, we're looking at working with the bus, working as a coherent team and going out and perhaps having an energy advice shop open to people so that they can just come in and say, I need help. But the main thing, as you said, is just going to the people and helping them that way.
Thank you, Kim. And over to you, Lesley. I just wondered what kind of issues you were seeing emerging and kind of what support you are offering for people during the winter period.
Hiya, thanks, Emma. Yeah, along with Jane at Age UK, we're giving out the Winter Warmth grant that comes from Cumbria Community Foundation for Copeland. This is our second year of doing that. It is quite well advertised in the press. It's on our social media, and you know, we'll get the word out as much as we can, and we'll, you know, continue to do that. What we sort of do as part of that process, if someone is really struggling when they ring up for that grant, we'll sort of take it a step further and find out if there's anything else that they're missing out on while they're on the phone. Sort of, you know, look at do you have all the income that you should be getting, you know, and if not, then we'll proceed down that track as well. And also I've been approached about this housing support grant as well, which is starting in December. So we don't have all the criteria for that yet, but I'm sure it's not far away. We're also, like Jane said, we're going to be going out on the bus. We've put together packs which includes all of our services, the council, Age UK, Cosy Homes, and other information from NHS, keeping warm and well, get your flu jabs, fire service, you know, that kind of thing. Anything that you can think of which is appropriate at this time of year, hopefully is in that pack, so that when we do go out on the bus, we can go to the community rather than the community come to us, because, you know, people can't always travel, people are ill, they're isolating, the COVID figures are going back up, so you know, it's important for us to be out there, as well as people coming to drop-ins to see us as well. We've got other things, sorry, I'm supposed to be on mute. on the go as well for people who are lonely. There's our telephone befriending service, which is really popular. I know Jane does one as well. We've got lovely volunteers who, you know, give up their time, and it makes such a difference just even an hour a week to talk to someone. You know, they might be the only person that person speaks to in that week. And of course, we've got the digital project as well, where people can borrow tablets, and with organisations such as AbilityNet, who can teach them over the phone of how to use the devices. You know, if they were wanting that process done, because people are still quite nervous for strangers to be coming into the house with COVID, so they can teach you remotely. People who maybe weren't interested before COVID are now a lot more interested in digital because of, you know, they've realised how bad it was that, you know, when you didn't have that connection with the outside world. And also the other things that we can help with as well, you know, if your house is not suitable for you, we can do the liaising with the landlords, with the social housing people as well. We can speak to them about any repairs or adaptations or equipment that you might be missing out on, that you don't realise is out there to help you. And it's all about prevention. All our services, all of us, it's all about prevention. And for us, our priorities are obviously, we're all the same. It's poverty, loneliness and isolation, which is as much of a big killer as heart attacks and strokes, as we all know. So yeah, so it's prevention, and you know, our services are available right through.
Thank you, Lesley, and the ladies. I'm kind of interested in, you know, getting the message out. How are we identifying where the services that have been provided are needed, and you know, what formats of communication are we using to get the message out, and in what way can people who may qualify or be in need of the services and support that we're offering, how can they get in touch? I'll come to you first, Emma.
Yeah, so we have our help and support leaflet. So that goes out to everybody's household in Copeland with all of our key services on. And also we have our website, where you can click on our link to our social prescribing directory, where all of our partner agencies are on there, and how to get support. What we're going to be doing over the winter months as well is doing some key themed social media posts, which directly let people know about the information around the winter period and how to get support. But if somebody does need support, please just reach out to our social inclusion team. You can find the link below, and one of our advisors will be able to help you.
Okay, and I guess the same question, Jane.
Okay, we're doing similar things. We're using social media. We're also aware that the County Council has put out a winter help information leaflet through most letterboxes now. So that's really helpful because it refers to all of our agencies. We also have our charity shops, and the staff in the charity shops will hand out leaflets. They're a point of information and advice at low level as well. So they can sort of signpost people to our various teams for various services. The winter warmth grant that Lesley was referring to before, that we both distribute, is really, really useful because it's a well-established way of getting money out to people really quickly. And so every single year, we're both swamped, aren't we really, Lesley, by people applying for that fund. And when it's almost like an entry level into the organisation, because as soon as they enter through that route, we know that those people need help. So we can then offer them a very, very bespoke service, which is, it's holistic. We wrap things around people. We have Befriending, we have all sorts of different things. And actually, through all of those points of entry into our organisation, we can then make referrals around this winter warmth. Somebody might ring up about something like a piece of equipment they need for around the home, and then we can open up a conversation and direct them. We're a nationally recognised charity, obviously, and that really helps, because nationally we're doing campaigns on winter safety and winter warmth and things like that. And then on a local level, we're putting out our social media, we'll be updating websites. We're doing leafleting, because good old-fashioned leafleting really helps, particularly in the case of older people who maybe don't look at Facebook and things like that. Sticking a few things through letterboxes is very basic, but we've already been doing that sort of in Workington and Cleaton Moor and places like that. And we'll be getting in touch with care homes and sheltered housing and things like that, because they're the sort of lower income end of the market. But also, I think the private homeowner also needs that information. We do a lot of work out of our Cockermouth hub as well, and people can walk in and make queries there as they can in Workington. But the shops are really vital, because they're out in lots of different communities and they can quickly signpost people to us.
Okay, Kim? You're on mute, Kim. You still on mute, Kim? Lesley, I'll come to you first and then we'll go back to Kim. Kim's still muted.
Yeah, so similar to Jane, you know, we'll be putting details on our website. We'll be putting it all out on the social media. We've had Whitehaven News in touch this week, so there'll be things going out in the press as well. So hopefully we will have enough of the Winter Warmth Grant to go around this time. When it's coupled with the housing support, then hopefully no one should miss out, because last year there was quite a few people who didn't get the grant because it was a first come first served scenario, unfortunately. Yeah, we've been putting posters out and leaflets, supermarkets, local supermarkets, doctors' surgeries, and also just letting our partners know as well, you know, the GP surgeries, adult social care, yourselves, you know, just all the different partners who we work with, the fire service, and anyone who comes across people who could be vulnerable or who would benefit. Yeah, so we're just sort of keeping everybody updated, really. And like Jane said, it's a really simple process. All people need to do is just ring up and, you know, just say, I've heard about the Winter Warmth project. Could I put my name down for it? And it's as simple as that. And you just get asked some very basic questions regarding the criteria, and away you go. We just paid our first instalments out yesterday, so they don't last long. But each time we do get another instalment, and the thing is with it as well, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. So we've got to show that there is a need. And then, you know, that need will always continue, that, you know, that grant hopefully will go on and on if you can show that there are people out there that need it.
Excellent. Kim, I think we've got you back on mic now.
That's fantastic, thank you. Okay, well, Call to Cosy Homes is accessible via our phone number or via our website. Just a simple, somebody else can refer someone on that system, so that's really easy. And then we're off talking to someone and giving them the right pathway, taking their case up and going to perhaps another grant provider, or perhaps the funds that we have accessible to us, like new and expectant mothers, for example, who suffer just in the cold and have all the expense of a new baby. Different funds like that we have access to. But mainly, I think the way we work is that we have 120 energy champions who are volunteers who are in the community. They're either in the community because it's a part of their day job to be in the community. So we're talking about community nurses, midwives, social care providers. And we also have those people who are just active in their community. Mainly this kind of stemmed from the COVID response teams and the fact that they were within the communities and knew who needed help. And so they refer to us people that they recognise need help because they're really, really cold, and then they need other help as well. And we will signpost on to all our social prescribing partners and obviously Jane and Lesley and their services as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Kim. Just to conclude, Emma, in your role, you're responsible for, not only coordinating between departments, our homes team, our revenues benefits team, and your own team, as well as the third sector and fantastic volunteers around the area, but also with funders as well. I think it's worth giving a shout out to the funders who support your team and a lot of the actions that you'll be able to deliver for the benefit of the community.
Yeah, I think it's really important to, without the funding that we get from our partners, we wouldn't be able to deliver that. Copeland Community Fund have been a big supporter of social inclusion. Sellafield Fund and Social Impact Team have been a really big funder. Cumbria Community Foundation have had some really good support. And if I can just finish on a couple of projects, Mike, that we're supporting as well in the community. So it's really important that we talk about our third sector partners because they're the lifeblood of the community, but equally our really small organisations that deliver in the community. So we're doing 2 projects throughout the Christmas period. One project we're working with around the Coombe in Millham and the ICC to deliver a Winter Falls project, a Winter Falls prevention project. So that's going to be distributing hampers to people after Christmas, after the difficult period to prevent falls. And we'll be working with all our partners to deliver that and take referrals. And also a big project that we're doing on Christmas Day. So we're supporting a local charity, and we're going to work with all our partners on the call to provide Christmas lunch for people who are lonely and isolated, who are over the age of 50. That's going to be delivered in the Civic Hall. So if you are in need and are going to spend Christmas alone and you are vulnerable or isolated, please get in touch with either Jane, Lesley or myself to save a seat, because what we don't want is people getting up on Christmas Day cold, lonely and isolated. They don't need to do that. We've got a fantastic winter project. We've got fantastic support around the table. Please reach out. And if you've got a neighbour that you know is on their own or isolated, please reach out too.
Okay, well, thank you very much, ladies, for joining me today. I think it really, we're not interested in posturing political statements. We're interested in practical solutions that support our community, and the commitment from me and the executive and all the members of Copeland Council and of the officer team led by our CEO is that supporting the most vulnerable in our community will remain the priority of Copeland Council. And I'd just like to put on record, my appreciation for the third sector, for the volunteers, for my own workforce, Emma and her team, and particularly the funders who put the finance behind some of these fantastic projects. And if you're watching this and some of these services help your situation, then please get in touch. And if you're watching this and you know of people who we can help, then please reach out. So Emma, Jane, Lesley, Kim, thanks for joining me today, and I'll look forward to working with you all over the coming months, and hopefully we can make a real difference to people's lives in the communities during this winter period. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.